Boats are emotional buys. Brokers know it. The great ones protect you from your emotions. The bad ones weaponize them. Today, I'm going to hand you 12 real broker red flags, the little tactics that quietly cost buyers thousands. For each one, you'll hear exactly how the trick shows up, what it really means mechanically or legally, what it usually costs, and the one line you can say that shuts it down on the spot. Stick around to the end for a simple offer script you can copy word for word so you never get rushed, trapped, or upsold again. If this saves you money, hit subscribe, and let's go. First red flag, the pre-warmed engine. You arrive for the showing and the broker just moved her from the fuel dock. The block is warm, the alternator is warm, and the engine starts instantly. Warm starts hide cold start truth. Slow cranking from weak batteries or bad cables, lots of white smoke from low compression, blue smoke from worn rings, shaking from bad mounts, or an air leak in the fuel system. Those aren't small fixes. Injectors and pump service can run $1,000 or $2,000. A top-end job or a full rebuild, $5 to $15,000 depending on the engine. Your move is simple. Please leave the engine stone cold for 12 hours before I arrive. When you step aboard, lay the back of your hand on the block, the exhaust elbow, and the alternator. If anything's more than ambient, you reschedule. Then do a true cold start. Key on, glow plugs if fitted, throttle cracked, no one touching the starter while you watch for smoke and listen for uneven cylinders. If they can't give you a cold start, they can't get your money. Second red flag, the postcard sea trial. Brokers love a 15-minute loop in glassy water at 1900 RPM. Nothing breaks in 15 minutes. You need load, temperature, and time. Tell them in advance what a sea trial means to you. Start cold, idle to the fairway. Run 30 minutes at true cruise RPM with the engine fully up to temperature. Verify that coolant stabilizes where the manufacturer expects it, not slowly creeping. Verify oil pressure. Then 5 minutes at wide open throttle to confirm the engine can reach its rated max RPM. Many diesels should hit their spec plus a little. If the plate says 3600, you want 3600 to 3700. If you only get 3100, you're overpropped or underfueled, and you're going to run hot. Test hard reverse and 3 full power stops. On a sailboat, actually hoist the main, unroll the head sail, tack, jibe, and put a reef in and out. Load the autopilot. If anything in that sentence makes the broker itchy, that's the point. Short loops hide long problems. Third red flag, steered surveyors and house mechanics. Some recommendations are honest. Some are convenient.
You don't want convenient, you want independent. What happens when you let the listing office pick? Marginal moisture gets explained away as probably from washing. Worn cutlass bearings get noted as monitor, and cracked chain plate bedding becomes cosmetic. You inherit the bill. Find your own surveyor, someone with no referral pipeline to the listing office. Look for SAMS or NAMS credentials on the surveyor, ABYC for marine techs. Expect to pay $20 to $30 a foot plus a haul-out fee plus lab tests. Spend the extra $50 on oil and coolant analysis. Iron and chromium point to wear. Sodium and potassium point to coolant ingress. Diesel fuel and oil points to injector or pump issues. Get rigging inspected by a rigger, not just looked at from the deck. Independence is cheap compared to surprises. Fourth red flag, the fresh refit that's just lipstick. Listings shout recent upgrades and show new cushions, blue LED strip lights, a glossy chart plotter, and then quietly don't mention that the standing rigging is 15 years old, the seacocks are dezinkified DZR, and the fuel hoses are decades past their date codes. Ask for invoices with dates, standing rigging, chain plate removal and inspection, sails, through hulls and seacocks, batteries, charging gear, alternator, and any major engine work. On hoses, look for the actual markings. Fuel hose should say SAE J1527-A-15 for gasoline or ISO 7840-A-1 for diesel. If it's not stamped, plan on replacing it. On through hulls, prefer true bronze or composite like Marilon. Cheap yellow brass fittings turn pink and crumble. On rigging, 10 to 12 years is the usual insurance line in the sand, even if the rig looks fine. On sales, new often means 5 seasons ago. Your line here is, great, send dated receipts for the backbone items. If there's no paper, let's price the boat as if I'm doing them. Cushions don't keep the mast up. Fifth red flag, phantom offers and manufactured scarcity. The moment you hesitate, a mysterious full-price offer materializes. You're urged to waive contingencies and get in line. Don't chase ghost bids. Say, perfect. Have the seller countersign my offer by close of business today. My offer is subject to survey, sea trial, and insurance approval. Real offers can wait 24 hours. Real sellers can hold the boat through a normal inspection window. If they can't, you just learned exactly how much they need your deposit. A lot. Sixth red flag, non-refundable deposits and booby-trap timelines. This one is paperwork, and it's sneaky. Contracts that say the deposit becomes non-refundable on a date that arrives before your haul-ack. Subjects that are so vague they're meaningless. Or a deposit moved out of escrow early for the seller. Your fix is wording,
Deposit remains in broker escrow and is fully refundable until I remove subjects in writing. Then spell out your outs: cold start, haul-out inspection, moisture and percussion survey, oil and coolant analysis, rig inspection for sailboats, full power sea trial, lien and title search, and insurance underwriting. Give yourself a real window: 10 business days after haul-out or 3 days after receipt of the written survey, whichever is later. Dates don't protect you, wording does. Read every line out loud. If a broker fights you on refundable deposit language, they're not protecting you. Seventh red flag, the staged dry bilge. You lift a hatch and it's bone dry and smells like bleach. There's a wet sheen on the limber holes, salt bloom on engine mounts, corrosion tracks around the strainer. Somebody just pumped and wiped. A truly dry boat looks dry all the time. Wipe the lowest corner with a white paper towel. Taste your fingertip, fresh or salty. Look up, not just down. Water finds chain plates, deck core around stanchion bases and window frames. It streaks and stains. Ask to see the boat first thing the morning after heavy rain or after it sat plugged in with the fridge running. On sea trial, keep the bilge pump on and your eyes on the float switch. Does it cycle every 10 minutes? That's not normal condensation. That's a leak. Bilge lies become deck recore bills at $200 to $400 a square foot. Eighth red flag, low hour fairy tales. Only 800 hours on the diesel on a 25-year-old boat sounds amazing, until you realize the hour meter was replaced, or it only counts when the key is on, or the engine idled at the dock all its life and glazed the cylinders. You don't buy hours, you buy condition. Signs of reality are everywhere. Look at the throttle and shift levers. Are the knobs polished smooth? Look at the engine mounts. Cracked rubber, sagging metal. Look at the shaft coupling. Rust tracks or fretting. Pull the dipstick. Milky oil means water. Fuel smell means dilution. Oil analysis tells the truth. High iron, aluminum, or chromium means wear. High sodium or potassium means coolant in the oil. On sea trial, confirm the hour meter advances. Confirm the engine reaches its rated max RPM and cools back down properly. If the numbers don't make sense, they don't. Price it like an unknown. Ninth red flag, paperwork fog. Title, liens, taxes, HIN, and build plates. Clean title means nothing until you see documents. For a U.S. documented vessel, order an abstract of title and read the chain for active mortgages. For a state-titled boat, pull the DMV record and check for brands or outstanding loans. If the boat lived in a yard, verify no recorded yard liens before paying off. On imports, VAT status matters. Either it's VAT paid with proof or it's not. Missing VAT proof means you may owe tax at the border. Check that the HIN in the transom matches every document. On CE-marked boats, confirm the builder plate and the design category. Your one-liner, please send the title or documentation page, the last state registration, the paid-off loan letter, if any, and the seller's ID, will add lien and tax clearance to the subjects. Paper problems sink deals faster than weather. 10th red flag, the moisture is just from washing. Moisture meters do read higher near metal and in cold weather, that's true. It's also true that high readings around chain plates, mast steps, stanchion bases, and deck hardware usually mean wet core. Wet core leads to delamination, fasteners that no longer hold, and dramatic bills. You want a dry day deck survey with comparative readings and percussion sounding. If the meter pegs around a stanchion, ask for one fastener to be pulled in that area so you can see if the balsa is brown and wet or crisp and dry. If it's wet, you either budget for a repair, or you negotiate a credit, or you walk. Don't be gaslit by the hose. 11th red flag. As is, where is, used as a shield. As is can be fine. What's not fine is using those words to refuse records, skip disclosures, or rush you past inspection. As is simply means we won't fix anything. It does not mean you have to buy blind. Your line is, as is fine, price follows condition. My offer assumes the engine starts cold, the hull and deck are sound, and the rig is serviceable. If survey shows otherwise, we adjust or I walk with my deposit. Say it, write it, and you just took the teeth out of as is. 12th red flag, the too tight timeline. We have to close by Friday. Haul-out slots are gone unless we sign today. Surveyors are booked for weeks, so let's skip the haul and do an in-water. Tight timelines are a feature, not a bug. They make you skip steps. Don't. You control the calendar with 2 sentences. We'll set dates after my surveyor confirms availability. Closing will occur 3 business days after I receive the written report and bind insurance. Good sellers agree. If they don't, it's not because the tide is special on Friday, it's because they need you to move faster than your common sense. Now let's go deeper on the money side so you see why these tricks exist. A cold start reveals easy tells. White mist for steam that clears fast, black smoke for too much fuel, blue smoke for oil. A rough idle that smooths above 1200 RPM often points to injector pattern issues. A diesel that can't hit rated RPM under load is overpropped, fuel-starved, or tired. Any of those can cost you thousands and will not appear in a 15-minute harbor lap.
On the survey side, independence matters because of incentives. A listing office wants to manage the risk and the narrative. Your independent surveyor gets paid the same whether you buy or walk, and their reputation comes from the accuracy of hard calls. Wet core, creased bulkheads around chain plates, bent pulpits that tell a story of impact, dezinkified valves that will snap the first time you cycle them. Let's make this practical with a quick walkthrough of a safe inspection day. You arrive early with a small kit: paper towels, headlamp, IR thermometer, a magnet, nitrile gloves, and a notepad. You start with a cold engine and a quick electrical check. Voltage at the house bank and the start bank before you touch shore power. You open the bilge and wipe the lowest corner. You look under the forward berth for the hull deck joint and for any signs of water tracks. You stand at the mast step and look for depression or spider cracks in the cabin top. You squeeze every water hose. Soft hoses balloon and split. You squeeze every fuel hose. Good ones are firm and labeled. You cycle every seacock. If it's frozen, it's not a valve, it's a decoration. You photograph the alternator belt, the raw water pump, and the stuffing box or shaft seal. Then you run the engine under load long enough to get the thermostat open. You verify the alternator output with a multimeter. Don't trust panel gauges. You check for vibration as you come through 1500 to 1800 RPM, because that range is where cutlass bearings and alignment lie. Under sail, you check halyard chafe at the sheaves, and you listen for traveler car rumble. These are boring details. Boring details make cheap boating. Let's also talk contracts because words become money. Your offer should specify that the deposit stays in escrow and remains fully refundable until you remove subjects in writing. List the subjects not as a vague, satisfactory survey, but as a short punch list. Cold start after 12 hours off. Haul out with bottom inspection and percussion sounding. Moisture readings on deck and coach roof. Rig inspection aloft. Oil and coolant analysis. Sea trial to rated max RPM and sail test with reef in and out. Lien and title clearance, and insurance underwriting approval. Make the inspection window start upon haul out, not upon offer acceptance.
Add a specific allowance to remove inspection panels, pull a single deck fastener if needed, and take fluid samples. If anything scares the broker about that language, remember, you aren't buying a couch, you're buying a pressure vessel. What about pricing power? Here's how you use facts, not feelings. When a broker leans on market price is firm, you bring receipts. The standing rigging dates to 2012. Insurance typically wants 10 to 12 years.
A full replacement is X in this region. The through hulls are yellow brass and show pink dezincification. That's a material change. The oil analysis shows elevated sodium. I'm comfortable moving forward if we adjust by the cost of these items, or we can structure a holdback in escrow for 30 days while I complete the work. Reasonable brokers recognize a prepared buyer. Unreasonable brokers reveal themselves quickly. A few quick bonus tells that save you from long headaches. If the autopilot is in-up, assume the boat hasn't seen miles in a while. If the windlass needs a breaker, plan on a new one. If the broker says the seller never used the stove, check the propane locker and solenoid for ABYC compliance. Many aren't. If a diesel tank is steel and original, count on cleaning or replacement. If the shore power inlet is the old twist lock style and the plastic is browned, plan on replacing the cord and inlet. If the deck hardware is bedded in silicone, not proper sealant, budget for rebedding. And if the boat smells strongly of fragrance, open every bilge and lazarette and find out what scent they're hiding. Let's zoom out for a second. Why are these red flags showing up more? Because the market shifted. Sellers remember 2021 prices and quick sales. Buyers in 2024 and 2025 are cautious. Higher rates, higher slips, higher insurance. That tension creates pressure tactics. Your answer to pressure is process. Process wins markets. Process saves money. Okay, here's your copy and paste mini offer script you can adapt to any brokerage form. Speak it out loud, then put it on paper. My offer is X, subject to a true cold start after 12 hours off, a haul-out inspection with percussion and moisture readings, a rig inspection aloft, oil and coolant analysis, a sea trial to rated max RPM and sailing with a reef in and out, clear title with lien releases, and insurance underwriting. The deposit remains in escrow. It is fully refundable until I remove subjects in writing. The inspection window opens upon haul audit or upon receipt of the written survey, whichever is later, and runs 10 business days. Closing will take place within 3 business days of subject removal. If survey reveals defects, we will either adjust the price by documented remedy cost, create a short escrow holdback to complete the remedy, or I will withdraw and receive my deposit back. That one paragraph neutralizes most of the tricks you heard today. It forces enough daylight and enough time for the truth to show up. And when the truth shows up, your price follows your eyes, not your feelings. Let's land this. Most brokers are pros. They want you happy because happy buyers come back.
Red flags aren't about accusing anyone. They're about recognizing when the process is getting bent into a shape that hides risk or transfers it onto you. If a broker welcomes a stone-cold start, a long sea trial, an independent surveyor, real paperwork, and clear refundable deposit language, you've probably found a good partner. If they fight you on the basics, they just told you what you needed to know. Vote with your feet, save your money, and buy the right boat on the right terms. Tell me in the comments the worst red flag you've seen and how you handled it. If this gave you confidence, tap subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. The more informed you are, the better boat you buy, and the fewer surprises you pay for after the handshake. See you out there.